A report in the Globe and Mail says 5 former World Junior hockey players have been told to report to police and will soon face charges for sexual assault. This is in connection to the 2018 sexual assault allegations in London, Ontario, a case that was dropped, then reopened in 2022 after a public outcry. Cheryl MacDonald is a sports sociologist and director of the Centre for Sport, Business and Health at St. Mary's University. Ms. MacDonald, what do you think of the latest developments in this case?
I think that they're perhaps a little bit slow coming, or at least among public opinion. And my first reaction, aside from being glad that something had happened, was just concern over who had perhaps been re-traumatized by this news coming back up. But at the same time, we need to get through all of this in order to create change.
Yeah, I'm sure this is difficult in terms of re-traumatizing. I'm wondering about the Hockey Canada angle of things. I mean, they've been very quietly trying to deal with these kinds of cases in the past to kind of keep them out of the spotlight. It's promised to change its ways. How is Hockey Canada doing at restoring trust in its organization?
I don't know everything that's going on inside the organization, obviously, so I think it's very easy to speculate from the outside. However, if I am to find any positives, it's that they have changed their board membership. It does seem that there's more reporting, at least within my own personal circles. I hear more about it, which I perceive as a positive thing. I think the media is working really hard at holding them accountable, and this is another step. I don't know how much change is going to come of this specific issue in London, but at the same time, I do think it is representative of some kind of change.
Yeah, there's the situation in London, and then there's the second alleged incident involving players in 2002 at the World Juniors here in Halifax, still under investigation, according to police. You're
Yes.
talking about how you're frustrated that the other case has been taking a while. How is the fact that this one, that the 2002 case has been dragging on, what does that do to trust and how you're feeling about that?
I think it's tough. I give this one a small amount of patience because I realized that 20 or 22 years ago, we didn't have social media, we didn't have as much video footage, and I think society in general was a lot more quiet about this type of misbehavior. I think women didn't feel as comfortable coming forward back then, so I can understand that it would be more difficult to retroactively find accurate information. At the same time, it also makes me wonder how much we don't know about potential other incidents that have happened in the past.
You know, so much of this centers around sort of the culture of hockey and what has largely been male dominated in certainly many regards. You know, with the presence of the Professional Women's Hockey League now, is it changing hockey culture at all, you know, in what has often been seen as more of a men's hockey culture?
I would like to think that it is. I'm very impressed with the attention that the new PWHL has been receiving. I'm always very happy to sing the praises of the many Nova Scotians and Maritimers who are part of that league. And I think that it gives us something new and positive to celebrate. And I also, I mean, not to dwell too much on the negative, but the context of me having been disappointed that it seems that attention gets taken away from women's hockey when there are problems on the men's side, the PWHL does seem to be a good, substantial thing for us to draw our attention to.
You know, you're talking about change coming slowly. What more needs to be done, do you think, to move the needle on men's hockey culture?
I think it's a two-part thing. I think over time you're going to see the phasing out of folks who just aren't interested in change or who are actively fighting against it, whether that's just their attitudes or their age. Either way, I think that they will eventually be on their way out. That's a slow process, of course. And I also think that another very slow process, but a positive one, is that for the most part, I'm noticing, at least in my world, that parents and coaches and other leaders, teachers, for instance, are doing a lot more work to instill emotional intelligence in their children, compassion, open-mindedness, non-judgment, and self-confidence. And I think, too, we're starting to talk more about focusing on the process of participating in sport and not necessarily on winning in sport. And so I think those two areas are going to change slowly. It's not going to happen fast, and not nearly as fast as I'd like. But I do think those are going to be the two keys to creating sustainable change.
We'll be watching that change, as I know you will be. Cheryl MacDonald, thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.